Real sports talk for the real sports fan.
All you chumps are gonna bow when I whip him.
It's time for the Swain Event, fueled by Dead End Barbecue.
Give me 2 shots and a Ric Flair.
Swain Event, SwainEvent.com, fueled by Dead End Barbecue. Top 100 barbecue restaurant in America. It is Thursday, the 27th, one day away from the Sweet 16 versus Kentucky, 2 days away from Sweet 16 with the Lady Vols versus the Texas Longhorns. I'm Jason Swain, live from the Low T Center studio. Ben McKee is live from Indianapolis, coming off a rough night. Rough night hanging out at the Lakers game. Ben McKee, good morning. We'll get Ben taken care of over here. See? Ben don't even know how to work a microphone because he was out partying. He was partying way too much last night. Hanging out with Dog Connect and the crew. That's what he was doing. The men's team went to the Indiana Pacers and Lakers game. It was a good game. Good game. LeBron James with the tip in to win the game at the buzzer. A lot of offensive points.
Hello.
There we go. Hey, Ben. How you doing, sir?
I'm doing well. Can you still hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you.
There's a red button on the back of this microphone that was blinking. I assume that means it was on, but I pressed it again. It was the mute button. Apparently,
yeah.
lit up red.
Oh,
So
yeah.
I wish I was at the Lakers game last night. Would have been a lot more fun than getting in to Indianapolis at 2 a.m. That would have been a lot more fun, a lot more enjoyable time to wake up this morning if that had been the case. But we're doing good. It's Chris Lofton's birthday. Shout out to the GOAT. It's Jordan McRae's birthday. Shout out to the Orange Mamba. We're doing good. Basketball game tomorrow night. What could be better?
Did you watch the documentary yet?
Nope.
Chris Lawson. Could you do it for his birthday?
I will not have time today, so no.
I mean, that could be Chris Lofton's birthday present. Hey, man, you're my favorite player ever at Tennessee. But for your birthday, I'm going to watch a documentary about you, about what made you special here in Tennessee.
See, I'm a real friend. I saw him in Nashville. I told him hello, dapped him up. We embraced. I saw him in Lexington last weekend before the Tennessee UCLA game.
Fair.
Dapped him up, said what's up, So
Okay.
me and Chris Lofton, we're already on really good footing, Swain. Okay?
All right.
We don't need you instigating in our relationship.
All right. Wait, you'll see him again because he's going to be there tomorrow more than likely. And what he's going to watch is Tennessee and Kentucky for the third time this season. And just like on Tuesday when we had the conversation, there's a good reason to feel good if you're a Tennessee fan. I've been made aware of this thing you do where if you're a Tennessee fan, you bet on the opposing team. And if the opposing team wins, you feel better about losing because you make some money. And if your team wins, then it's like you paid for the win. Is that's a real thing, huh?
It's not something that I do, but I do know people who do that. They hedge their bets. They make sure that one way or the other, they're happy, either financially or in their heart.
Yeah, I didn't know that was a thing.
What's the line at now? I know Tennessee opened as a 4.5 favorite late Sunday night. Are you aware of what the line is at the moment?
Oh, I'm aware. I'm aware. Yesterday it was at 4.5. Let's see where it is today.
So you're not aware.
Um, I didn't check it today. It's still at 4.5.
Okay. Oh, by the way, happy opening day. Okay. Let me say my one sentence. Happy opening day. Go Yanks. Gonna be a bad season, but we'll get through it together.
Still taking a Juan Soto departure bad.
No, they just had too many injuries in spring training. Garrett Cole out for the season with Tommy John. Luis Heel down, the reigning AL Rookie of the Year. Clark Schmidt is hurt. There's been one injury after the next. No John Carlos Stanton for a long time. So I don't have high hopes going into the season. We will be better than the White Sox. I know that.
Oh well, that's not saying much. That's not saying much at all.
No, but Tennessee fans should be confident. They should also be nervous. It is that time of year in which every game you are nervous going into. And it is a team that has beaten you pretty good the first two matchups. But as we talked about on Tuesday morning, I think this is a different Tennessee basketball team on March 27th compared to, when was that game? February 11th?
Yeah, one was in February, the other was in January.
Knoxville was January 28th, and then they played 2 weeks later in Lexington on February 11th. This team is a different basketball team 2.5 months later. They are better in the backcourt. Zakai, as we talked about, is hitting shots on a more consistent basis than he was at the time. And he's not going into this game having tweaked his knee like he did late in the first half of that first matchup. I think that really affected his play in the second half. Chaz Lanier is a totally different basketball player in a lot of ways. And he's one of the best basketball players in the country at the moment. He was having a really good season and was considered one of the best shooters in the country at the time. But now I think he's one of the best overall players in the country with what he is doing to impact games. Jemai Meshack, I think he's settled in offensively in addition to what he does defensively. He's had a bit more rhythm on the offensive end of late than he did at that time. Jordan Gainey's playing terrific basketball. So I think Tennessee's backcourt will prove to be the difference. But I kind of, maybe I'm too confident and I end up looking like a fool. But a lot of the intangibles is why I am very confident in Tennessee going into this game. I think their veteran leadership at the guard position is what gets it done, specifically with Zakai Ziegler and Jemai Meshack. And I just think those guys are going to refuse to lose to Kentucky in their final basketball game at Tennessee. As corny as that sounds, I absolutely believe in that. And that's kind of the biggest reason I am so confident in Tennessee, is them just refusing for this to be the way that they go out. And then you add the Lamont Butler comment at the beginning of the week. And not that you need anything to motivate you at this time of year. If you do, we have much bigger issues at hand.
Take it.
But it can give you just a little bit more that you need to push yourself over the hump. And this time of year, that little bit can be all the difference.
Well, I mean, you remember the last time Tennessee played, the last two times, and one of those games, I think it was the game after we played him here, Kentucky's head coach, Mark Pope, publicly said, we let the people that we wanted to shoot. So you put that in your pocket, and you carry that to the game tomorrow along with Lamont Butler's comments. You're not crazy. Tennessee is favored by 4.5 for a reason. I mean, Tennessee lost 2 games to Kentucky, won by double digits, and Vegas still likes Tennessee. You're not crazy. Last time I checked, Vegas knows what they're doing for the most part. All right, let's go to the phones. 865-255-03. Tennessee men's team, Sweet 16 versus Kentucky. Good morning.
Man, I've been so geeked for this game tomorrow night. I forgot the Brewers was about to sweep the Yankees this weekend.
These, why are you doing that to Ben?
I'm not worried about the little old Brewers. When I say I'm worried about this season, I'm talking about the Dodgers, the Mets, the
Easy.
Boston Red Sox with VFL great Garrett Crochet getting the ball on opening day. I'm worried about the Baltimore Orioles. I'm not worried about Nate Snead and DZ and Milwaukee's little old Milwaukee Brewers that can't get over the hump in the playoffs. Let me know when y'all play in the World Series, DZ, and then you can talk to me.
I I really don't have a comeback for that, but y'all losing today. I'll tell you that much.
No, what's going to happen is you're going to sit there and you're going to watch Devin Williams shove it down your throat for 2 innings, and you're going to reminisce on all
hey,
the good
hey,
times he gave it for you in Milwaukee.
hey, you got to be a little bit more careful with that language, sir. But yeah, man.
Baseball league will
Really,
get you in trouble real quick.
yeah, real quick,
That's Ben
real
McGee.
quick. Right, but yeah, looking forward to obviously for that game today and tomorrow, man. Couldn't be more elated to watch our Vols. I'm supremely confident in them. I'm just ready to roll the basketballs out on the floor and let's get to business. The one key that I have is what I can't pronounce the dude's first name, but that Almanor kid, we cannot just let him just shoot wide open threes like we did the first two games.
No.
He was torching us. We're not going to even get on the two freshman kids that were torching us in that second game. But I'm confident. I'm not worried one bit. I mean, obviously, the only worry I have is just, the finality of things for our seniors. But other than that, man, I'm excited. I'm confident, and I'm ready to watch. I just wish the tickets weren't $800 like they were $8 last weekend, because I definitely could have made that drive to Indy from here. It's only about 4.5 hours, but it's all right. I'll be watching from TV.
Yeah, I'm surprised C-Mac ain't gonna pop up because I mean C-Mac can drive now for a Tennessee sporting event. So, but yeah, those tickets. And we knew this was gonna happen. DZ, like Kentucky being in the Sweet 16, you knew the Tennessee fans were gonna have to struggle with Kentucky fans to get tickets, and it will be a struggle to have more fans than Kentucky fans there. Man, we knew that the moment that Kentucky punched their ticket to the Sweet 16 for sure. But you're talking about Ansley, Almanor, number 15, who spots up and can shoot it, man. At 6'7", plays power forward, and that's why protecting the paint is so important. Not letting Otega Owe get to the paint with 2 feet, collapsing defense, and being able to kick out. It's important not to let Lamont Butler do the same thing. So it's about you winning your individual matchups and guarding your man, not letting him get to the paint on penetration. Those are the two guys that Tennessee must keep out of the paint, must limit their driving opportunities.
Yeah, for sure. It's gonna be a dogfight. I'm expecting a scrappy battle. Couple of teeth on the floor, probably. It's gonna be nasty, but it's what we're built for, and I'm ready for it. Just one more quick question, and I'll hop off and listen. Ben, with I know the transfer portal just opened up on Monday, so still a lot of leaves to fall and things like that, although we have seen several commitments already, but we already know how that goes. Are there any, Ben, are there any particular players that may be visiting? I did see a headline or two that were behind some paywalls that said that we may have one or two guards coming to visit sometime soon. So if you know anything about that, if you can give us any little nuggets, and like I said, I'll hop off and let's get that dub tomorrow night. Ben, you be safe on that road.
Yeah, I appreciate you. I'll say that Purdue is also not helping with the ticket situation in Indianapolis because obviously you buy the tickets for the session. So not only you're competing with Kentucky and Purdue for tickets, which is not a great combination whatsoever. If you're a Tennessee fan trying to get in the building, there are a couple of guards that Tennessee is having some early contact with. Isaac McNeely is probably the one that Tennessee fans would most be able to recognize the name. He's the shooter from Virginia that Tennessee shut down in the Bahamas, but he shoots the ball at a really high percentage. And I haven't done a deep dive into what is available in the portal. We still don't know what will become available in totality. And I'm not saying that he is Chaz Lanier, but Isaac McNeely, it's probably a safe bet that he ends up being the best shooter in the portal this offseason, very much like Chaz Lanier was last offseason. So Isaac McNeely is a guy that Tennessee has had some contact with now. That one seems like it's going to be a hard one to pull off. I've seen North Carolina heavily involved. I've seen Louisville heavily involved. So there's some big time suitors, some blue bloods of basketball. Tennessee would need to overcome there. I think the one that's probably the furthest along, and we're in the stage right now of setting up those visits, as DZ mentioned, is Jalen Jackson, the point guard from IPFW, which I believe is Indiana, Purdue, Fort Wayne, if I'm not mistaken. And I actually know IPFU because one of my Grizzlies, John Conchar, the great Conchar, has he played at IPFU back in the days. FW, I should say, not FU. Let's not say IPFU, it's IPFW. There's a big difference there. The Mastodons up in the northern part of Indiana. He's a point guard. He's considering Clemson, Michigan, Butler, Notre Dame, and Tennessee. He's setting up visits right now, and I think there's a pretty good chance that he makes it to Tennessee on a visit at some point. And then there's two other names I feel comfortable mentioning. Lamar Wilkerson from Sam Houston. He's a guard. And then North Dakota State guard Jakari White, who looks like Josh Dobbs and also wears number 11 at North Dakota State. So there's four guards right now that I feel comfortable mentioning. They're doing their due diligence on a lot of different players at this point in the season. I mean, earlier this week you had Troy Henderson pop up out of nowhere, where he's released from his NLI, not NIL. You got to slow down and say it out loud, sound it out, so you don't get it backwards. But the NLI, he was released from Fordham last week because Fordham decided to fire its basketball coach. Rick Barnes had noticed Troy Henderson when he was watching Nate Ament, the five-star forward, play last offseason on the Adidas AAU circuit. He really liked his game. Tennessee did have some other point guards it was kicking the tires with at the time, so didn't necessarily completely go after Troy Henderson, but Rick kind of put the name on his back pocket list and was a name that he wanted Tennessee to remember in case anything ever happened down the road. Well, nothing ever materialized with other point guard targets. Troy Henderson, gets out of his NLI at Fordham, and Tennessee quickly snatched him up because they do really like his game. This was not somebody that just, a point guard's available, let's go get him very quickly. They had done their due diligence. They really liked the player. He very much mirrors Zakai Ziegler's story in terms of being under-recruited because they're undersized. They play with a similar toughness, at least that is noticeable in the realms of being an AAU player. I don't want to compare any high school player to Zakai Ziegler, but Zakai Ziegler coming out of high school, Troy Henderson has a lot of similar traits of being a dog, being able to defend, great leader, great teammate, great young man. I was very impressed with him when I spoke to him on Tuesday, I guess that was. And they really like his game. And he can shoot it too. He's further along as a shooter right now than Zakai was when Zakai was coming out. He shot over 40% on the Adidas circuit in AAU ball last offseason. So they really like that. And they needed a high school prospect at the point guard position. I think they would like to add a transfer point guard. So if you can add a prep point guard with a transfer point guard, I think you'd be in a really good situation going into next year. I think Tennessee also reached out to the New Mexico point guard. I'm blanking on his name, but he was one of the best players in college basketball this season. That would be another hard one to close the deal on. But you can sense that Tennessee is going to be very, very guard heavy, which they should. I think they have enough in the front court already for next season with a healthy J.P. Estrella, Felix Okpara, Cade Phillips. And then technically you will have another scholarship body in Dwayne Brown, although I think as of today, Dwayne would benefit from a red shirt. That's enough in the post, in my opinion, especially in today's new age of basketball where you're playing four guards on the court at once, essentially. So they need a transfer point guard, and then they're going to need to go get 3 or 4 guys that can play off the ball in the backcourt or on the wing. And I think that's why you see them being very, very guard heavy early on in the portal. So still in the early stages, still trying to determine who they absolutely are going to go after and set up visits with those players. But there's a couple of names starting to trickle out.
I remember last year there was talk about Chazanier coming to Tennessee before Chazanier hit the portal. And you look at all the players that are hitting the portal right now that have a do not contact designation by their names. I'm just letting the staff do their thing. As simple as that. You're not going to know every name publicly that Tennessee may have a chance for in any sport because of the environment of the transfer portal. And it's evolved in the last year, 2, 3 years. Kids into the portal with the do not tag designation more now than ever. And you can put two and two together to know what that means. All I know is Tennessee will reload. And that's all that matters to me. Let's go back to the phones, 865-255-03. Good morning.
Good morning, guys.
What's up, Turkey Man?
Hey, you hear me okay?
Yep. Sounds good.
Okay. Yeah, thank you. Hey, I was gonna ask Ben a question there because I noticed that we helped a record speed wise from the pitcher's mount and from the softball circle. Was it 45, 46 foot from softball and 60 foot from pitcher's mount? Ben, is that correct?
I would need to confirm with Google before I gave you a firm answer.
Well, I believe I'm right. So it's 45 or 46 foot from the softball circle and I know it's 60 foot from pitcher's mount. So what's equivalent of 78 mile an hour plus from softball versus the 105 from pitcher's mount? What's that equivalent to?
Well, you see, you carry
math questions.
you carry the 1, and then you got to bring over the decimal, and then you just got to subtract 1 and times it by 3. The softball mound in college, the softball circle, the pitching rubber in softball is 43 feet.
Oh, really? Okay.
That's actually in both high school and college softball. It's 40 feet for youth softball. So I don't know the exact numbers, Turkey Man. It's really fast. It's the equivalent of really, really fast is what it is. I would imagine that it's the equivalent of a 100-mile-an-hour fastball or something along those lines. It may be even as close to what Ben Joyce was doing, 105. I'm sure. I'm surprised I haven't seen that. Usually when you see a softball pitcher touch numbers that Carolyn Pickens is touching of late, like you see the comparisons. Oh, this is the equivalent of a such and such fastball in Major League Baseball. Maybe I've just missed it this week. So if there's a listener out there that's seeing what it would be equivalent to with a baseball pitch, please let us know. I don't know that number off the top of my head. I'm sorry.
Well, before I get off here, who's the the baseball balls play, and where's it at this week, and where could you watch it if you wanted to?
They are playing at South Carolina. They're playing the Gamecocks this weekend, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. First two games on Friday and Saturday are on SEC Network Plus, so you'll have to pull it up and stream it. Sunday's game, the series finale, is on the SEC Network, so you'll be able to watch that one on TV. Game one is at 7 o'clock on Friday night, and then you've got 4 o'clock on Saturday and 5 o'clock on Sunday. And if you can't
What about
listen,
the ladies?
or if you can't watch, go listen to the great John Wilkerson.
How about the lady vault and the men's basketball? What's the time and frame on that?
The men play at 7:39 Eastern on Friday night. That's on TBS or True TV. And the women's are at 4 o'clock, right? Sueno? On Saturday, 4 o'clock on Saturday from Birmingham. 3:30 p.m. Eastern on ABC Saturday from Birmingham. I think Swain's taking the girls down there.
Well, I just wanted to check in on that. It's opening day of Major League, ain't it?
Yes, it is. Go Yankees. And Turkey Man, our research department just hit me up. Shout out to our guy, Nathaniel Rutherford, our research department. He said that Rob Friedman, the pitching ninja on social media who makes awesome videos, he said that Pickens' softball pitch was roughly the equivalent to a 110 mile per hour baseball pitch in terms of reaction time for a hitter. So it was even faster than Ben Joyce, if Rob Friedman is correct on his math.
That's kind of what I thought, because in Little League, I think he's 46 foot, and that's where I was putting it about the same range as softball. I think did that years ago, and a 70 mile an hour Little League pitcher was something like almost 100 range on the Major League or high school or college mount. Anyhow, I'm going to get out of here. Appreciate it. And Swain, hope you have a safe trip and have a good one. And I'll talk to you later.
All right.
Thanks, Turkey Man. And Rodney and Austell did back that up. He said that Carolyn Pickens threw a record-breaking 78.2 miles per hour softball pitch from a 43-foot mound. This is the equivalent of trying to hit a 110.03 mile per hour baseball pitch. Lost Vol helped us out there as well. Brian Hunsucker helped us out. Look at the great people. Dustin Vol, Green Axe. Man, the people are so awesome. I did want to, it was Nathaniel, both via text and on the text box. He said that he hopes that Tennessee goes and gets a stretch 4 to replace Igor that would complete the front court next season. I think that would be nice if one pops up. I know I said that I think they're okay with what they have now in the post, but I do think if an Igor Milicic type became available, if they could add that to a strong guard class, then that would be awesome. I also think it would be nice if they could try and find a Josiah Jordan James, Jemai Meshack type in terms of the defensive flexibility. Somebody who's a wing, but if you need them to in a pinch, they're a bigger body and can get in the post and potentially defend.
Yeah, I think you need. Is it okay for me to talk? I think it's okay. I think
now it is.
Okay. I think it's important to get the stretch 4. I mean, I think the difference between last year's offense and this year's offense is the ability to shoot the ball from that 4 position. I mean, and Igor not only can make that shot, but he can rebound too. And so he's Tennessee's best rebounder. So if you can find someone that can play that 4, that can shoot it, then I think that would be ideal. Again, you got to find that person. But you look at the roster next year, Estrella's not shooting. Felix is not shooting, even though
I think Estrella shoot more than you think. I actually talked to him about
is he shooting at the top of the key.
I think he's going to be shooting threes next year. I talked to him in the locker room last week in Lexington to ask him how he was doing, and he said he's doing good. And I was asking him about his overall game, and I said, "What do you think you were going to give Tennessee this season that you'll be able to give them next season?" And he said, "I'm somebody that you can throw the ball to in the paint, and I'll go get you a bucket. I'm also somebody that can step out and knock down shots from the perimeter. I really, really like where my perimeter game is right now." He is very, very confident. We'll see if that translates to Rick giving him the green light. The way he was talking was like, "Yeah, I'm going to shoot from the perimeter and I'm going to make them."
Okay. Well,
So we'll see.
we'll see.
To your point, like it is very fair to be TBD or to wait and see.
Yeah, we'll see on Strella. But like Felix is not shooting them. I don't care if he's shooting them after practice and making them when no one's guarding them. Like he ain't shooting them. Okay, in the games from top of the key, like we saw Igor do. And then K Phillips is not shooting them either. So if you can have someone that can shoot it from the front court, that opens up the offense a ton. Jonas could hit that 17-footer when you needed him to. Didn't want him shooting a bunch of threes, but he can make that shot. All right. I'm not going to Birmingham, by the way. So I'll be watching on TV, just like a lot of people, being messing with y'all.
That means he's going to Indianapolis instead.
No, I'm not going anywhere, man. I'm locked in right here in the Low T Center Studios watching the games.
Easy. Money Williams did enter the portal. Well, not Money Williams. Are you saying Money Williams or Mikey Williams? Because Mikey Williams, the player that was going to Memphis, the former 5-star who got in trouble, could not go to Memphis and was at UCF. He has already entered the portal, if that's who you meant to type. But he ain't coming to Tennessee. He is the anti-Rick Barnes play in a lot of ways.
No. Memphis is trying to get him back. The administration didn't want him in the first time.
Go right ahead, Memphis.
And so I did see where Penny is trying to make that happen. This has been Penny's best season at Memphis this past year, even though they did get beat by Colorado State. But, they had a strong season in conference overall. Penny's finally, I think, getting the hang of things there as a college head coach. So good for him.
They would have gone further, too, if what's my man who got hurt? He was really good this year. With Tyrese Hunter that was hurt for them and was not able to play, I believe that's who it was. They had 2 or 3 really good players, and I think Tyrese Hunter was for sure out, and I think the other one was banged up. They would have beaten Colorado State if they were not banged up. I like the Dane Danger. He's a lot of fun to watch in the post, and you pair that with the guards. They had a really, really good team and had some unfortunate injuries at the wrong time.
Yeah, Tyrese Hunter, Dante Harris. He was out against Colorado State with a foot injury. So, yeah, Penny has a chance to build on what they were able to do last year. So, you got to give Penny his respect. We know the rivalry between Tennessee and Memphis and kind of what went down during COVID, but he's done a really good job since then. Brian Hunsucker said there's a player from Robert Morris, 6'9" forward, averaged 14 points, shot 55% from the field, 41% from 3. Yeah, that's the type of player that you may look at.
You don't want to pronounce his name?
Nah. Alvargo.
There's no G in there.
Huh?
There's no G in his first name.
Alvaro Folagululis. Gruius. Flolaglulius. I don't know.
I'm not trying to pronounce it either. I'm calling him Alvaro.
Yeah, I don't know, man. Dude from Robert Morris.
He looked good against Alabama.
Yeah, he did.
He looked good on the wing at Tennessee and on the block. He'd be a nice Igor Milicic Jr. replacement.
DZ from Milwaukee. Benjamin, can you remind me the name of the other kid from Wisconsin on the baseball team?
Yeah, there's two of them. Nate Snead and Gavin Keelan are both from Wisconsin. And Nate Snead is a diehard Milwaukee Brewers fan. I mean, huge Brewers fan. All about them. And I keep messing with him because he is obviously going to be a high draft pick in the draft in July. I keep messing with him that one of the other teams in the NL Central is going to draft him, and he's going to be in a tough spot. It's going to be the Cubs or the Pirates or the Reds. Somebody he cannot stand because of how big of a Brewers fan he is going to draft him.
That's the way it always works, right?
Yes, and I was joking with him. I said, man, I hope you don't end up with my Yankees and my Yankees have to face the Brewers in the playoffs with you pitching on the mound. I don't know who you're going to be pitching for in that moment. I like to mess with him about that. He's a diehard Brewers fan. I love how passionate he is about the Brewers. I've always had love with the Brewers too. I was messing with DZ earlier. I was the bat boy for the Huntsville Stars in high school, and at the time they were affiliated with the Milwaukee Brewers, and I took hitting lessons from one of the Brewers minor league hitting coaches that threw to Prince Fielder in the home run derby. Whenever Prince Fielder was in the home run derby, he would be the one that was throwing him BP, throwing him the baseballs, and I took hitting lessons from him. So I always kind of liked the Brewers because I knew some of the players that went up there and played in the major leagues from my time being a good old bat boy in high school at old Joe Davis Stadium. R.I.P. You'll be in Huntsville in a couple weeks.
Yeah, that's the plan.
Yeah, I'll be there too.
Yeah, that's the plan, my man. That's the plan. 865-255-03. I'm going to take a break. I'm going to try to get this show back on the rails.
This is like the 9th Hall of Fame you're going into?
How
many Hall of Fames will this be?
Just one.
I don't believe you. There's got to be others.
Just one and the only, my man. Just one and the only. That's it. Ben. Make sure your mic works when we come back from break, okay? Don't hit the mute button on us. You like Turkey Band, man. We want to hear your takes, my man.
People probably want me to mute my mic.
865-255-03. Ben McKee, Go Balls 247 from Indianapolis. I'm Jason Swain, live here from the Low T Center studio. Stay with us.
You're listening to the Swain Event.
You don't say.
Fueled by Dead End Barbecue.
Out-of-town law firms have been swarming into East Tennessee lately. From Memphis, Chattanooga, and Birmingham, they've stormed into the area. Wouldn't you rather do business with a local firm? You know, a true neighbor. Marcos Garza and the pros at the Garza Law Firm are just that. There are neighbors and friends that support local causes year-round. The Garza Law Firm works to serve you professionally on criminal matters, injuries and accident matters, and Social Security and disability filings. The Garza Law Firm is here for you at garzalaw.com. The Garza Law Firm. Let us help.
Good morning, Swain Event family. Jennifer Morris here with Keller Williams Realty. Spring is on the way, and that means the March Madness version of real estate is on the horizon. If you're in the home buying or selling mindset, don't wait until you're filling out your brackets to reach out. Get prepared and get in the game now. Call me at 865-694-5904 or visit my website at nextmovesmokymountains.com. Hope to hear from you soon, and go Vols.
Fellas, let's talk about getting back to your best. If you lack energy, muscle mass, feeling moody, or have low libido, it could be low testosterone. You need to know your T levels, so get tested. Testosterone therapy, or TRT, may be the answer, and you'll find true experts at Low T Center. But guys are not all the same, so don't settle for a standard dosage TRT program. Learn about the personalized treatment at Low T Center and the results you can expect with customized TRT. And for current patients, Low T Center offers a $150 referral credit when you refer a new patient. So go to lowtcenter.com to book an appointment. That's lowtcenter.com. Low T Center, reinventing men's healthcare. When you are craving some quality barbecue, there's only one place to go. Dead End Barbecue. Dead End Barbecue has been featured on ESPN's Taste of the Town, the first barbecue restaurant on the SEC Network, CBS Sports, Headline News Tailgate Show, Amazon Prime's The Restaurant Comeback, Food Paradise, and named one of the top 100 barbecue restaurants in America. The search is over. Dead End Barbecue is located on 3621 Sutherland Avenue right here in Knoxville. You can even have it delivered right to your door through Chow Now. Visit their website at deadendbbq.com. Dead End Barbecue. The search is over.
Just because you can't call in doesn't mean that you have to sit on the sideline. Impact the show with a text box. It's part of the free Swain Event app.
865-255-03. Jason Swain here with you. Ben McKee. How many hours of sleep are you on, man?
5.5. Not too terrible. Also not ideal, but we're good. Second weekend of the NCAA tournament. Tennessee's 2 wins away from its first ever Final Four. Tennessee, Kentucky. I mean, what else needs to be said? I'm good.
Turkey Man asked on the Beatty Chevrolet text box, BeattyChevrolet.com, pre and new car. If you are in the need for any of the two, shop with confidence at Beatty Chevrolet, warranty for life. You can shop on their website. You can go right there on Parkside Drive. I've bought 2 cars from there. My family have. And plan on buying a third from there when that time comes. BeattyChevrolet.com. Turkey Man on the Beatty Chevrolet text box says the talk of Rick Barnes retiring. Does that affect recruiting and how? I don't see why it should, because players can hit the transfer portal so easily, and that's probably been talk of Rick Barnes retiring for months and months and months and months. Now, I did see ESPN article where it was mentioned that there's been some whispers here and there, around the tournament, but Rick Barnes is recruiting like. I mean, he's coming back, but Borzillo, Myra Metcalf, and Joe Lunardi, all 3 of them picked Tennessee to win in this game. I did see with Seth Greenberg pick Kentucky to win. He expects Kentucky to shoot, I guess, the same they shot when they beat us those 2 times. But I think there's been whispers about Rick Barnes possibly retiring for months now, and we've brought it up here and there. I don't think it's anything new.
Oh, not at all. It is not new at all, and I wouldn't be surprised if he did retire. I wouldn't be surprised if he coached another 3 to 5 years. I think any outcome is plausible. We'll see what happens when he is asked about it off the record. His comment is the same that he says on the record, that he'll stop coaching when the good Lord tells him to.
Yeah.
And he truly believes in that, as he should. And I don't think he knows yet. I would be surprised I'd be stunned if he has already made that decision. I would be absolutely stunned. I don't at all believe that decision has already been made. If it has been, I think he is somebody that's going to want to take time to reflect within the first couple of weeks after the offseason or after the last game, and then make a decision, which his decision-making process is not going to be advantageous for Tennessee, because I think that when he elects to retire, it'll be a couple of weeks after the season, once he's allowed the emotions of that final game to kind of wear off. Dean Smith, something that he's always pointed to is that Dean Smith told him to take his time making a decision, make sure he felt good about that. And you can't do that in the wake of your season coming to an end. And this year, more than ever, with Zakai Ziegler and Jemai Meshack moving on, how emotional that will be, on top of just losing in general. If they lose, Hey, who's to say they won't win the next 4 games and win a national championship?
There you go, Ben.
But I would be surprised if that decision is already made. I think that's something that he would decide on within the first couple of weeks of the off season after the emotional roller coaster comes to an end.
I flat out asked Meshack and Ziegler weeks ago, and I was joking with those guys off the air that Z had to come back because he was going to be the person who kept Rick Barnes from retiring. And he was like, "Man, I don't see it." And Meshack was like, "I don't see it either. I mean, I can see Rick coaching for easily another 3 years. I mean, and we've heard stories, and you know this too, Ben. But Rick Barnes' office is the basketball court, the practice court, and Rick Barnes prefers practice over games. Like, he loves practice. He loves coaching basketball. He loves going through the period of preparation. And that's what you get with practice. Like, he loves that stuff. And how do you just cut that off in a few weeks? I mean, I know he is at the age where, he's not getting any younger. No one's getting younger, but he has grandkids that are young, and at some point he's going to want to spend more time with them. That's, I'm sure, coming, but I don't see any indication of him slowing down. And 2 of his senior players said the same thing. So, but yeah, Turkey Man, it's been a point of conversation for the last couple of months, and it's no different now than it was, months ago.
He's the same Rick Barnes in practice.
Yeah.
He's still just as intense and fiery and getting on the guys as much as he was when he first got to Tennessee. There's not been a change there. I do think he's been more reflective this season outside of practice with post-game comments and reflecting on wins, and it seems like he has soaked it in a little bit more this year, but in practice, there has not been a difference in Rick Barnes.
Yeah. All right, hey, I'm with you, man. I'm with you. Hey, this game tomorrow night, your most important player for Tennessee. Your most important player.
Zakai Ziegler. I think he fuels the confidence to this basketball team, and he did not play well in those first 2 games, and I think that was the difference. That's the difference in a lot of games that Tennessee loses is whether Zakai plays well or not. I don't have the numbers in front of me, but he did not shoot it well in Lexington, if I remember correctly, and then in Knoxville he did not play well either, in part because he had the knee injury scare at the end of the first half, and I did not think he played well in the second half, and I thought that affected his game. After it was sore, obviously. He missed the next game against Florida. B, I think just going through what he went through in that game mentally, I mean, it did not look good when he ran off the court and straight back to the locker room. And it looked like he hyperextended his knee to a certain extent. So just the mental and physical side of trying to bounce back from that within a game, I thought led to him playing poorly in the second half. He just simply did not play well in either game.
I got you, Ben.
And Tennessee lost both.
He shot a combined 8% from 3 in those 2 games. He didn't make a 3 in the second game. The first game, this is the game where they kept leaving him open. And that comment from Mark Pope, that was about him. Because remember Zakai kept shooting him, and he was looking over at Rick going, he was shrugging his shoulders like, yo, I'm shooting open shots. It's not going in. I remember that look. So that comment Mark Pope made about we wanted the guys that we wanted to shoot the basketball, that was about Zakai. Because he shot 11 shots from beyond the arc versus Kentucky January the 28th. in both games combined, because he didn't make a three at all. Only took two. We played them at Kentucky, but combined 8%. And you look at what he's done in the 3 postseason games. I look at the SEC tournament. I look at the SEC tournament as 3 postseason games, but then you add in the other 2, which is 5 postseason games. But against Texas, he was 33%. Now against Auburn, see what had happened was he was 1 for 6. Against Florida, he was 4 out of 7. And then against Wofford, he's 2 out of 5, 40%. And then UCLA, 2 out of 6, 33%. So he is shooting a whole lot better from 3. And you look at Lamont Butler and his ability to drive and penetrate, his experience. You know, he took a team to a national championship game against UConn when he was at San Diego State. So Zakai is important defensively, containing Lamont Butler, and then being able to shoot the basketball when he's left open. Because, again, Mark Pope said in the first meeting that's who he wanted to shoot it.
I would say my other 2 are Jemai Mashack slowing down Kobe Brea. Kobe Brea has popped off on Tennessee in each game. They need to slow him down because he's kind of the engine of that 3-point offense for Kentucky. And he has played really well against Tennessee. Mashack needs to shut his water off. And then the reason I hesitated a moment ago.
You think he's going to be guarding Brea? Who's going to guard Oweh? Because Oweh is your driver, your penetrator.
Yeah. I guess I would rather want Mashack on Ortega, but I also want him on Brea.
We can't guard both of them. I know he's going to be National Defense Player of the Year.
I mean, would you rather have Chaz on Kobe because he's not going to do as much? Like he's going to stand on the 3-point line and you give that responsibility to Chaz? I guess I would be fine with that. Chaz has been good defensively. I feel like he's done a really good job of just doing the simple things. I mean, he's not Jemai Mashack. He's not Zakai Ziegler, but he's not getting beat off the ball like he was at the beginning of the year. He's not getting lost defensively. He has active hands. He's pressuring the ball. I like what Chaz is doing defensively right now. I would be fine with him on Kobe Brea because Kobe, to your point, is not going to be doing a lot of different things like Ortega Oweh will be. And so you're right. That is a better matchup for Jemai Mashack. But at the end of the day, my biggest point there was don't let Kobe Brea go off like he did in those first 2 games. And when the freshmen, Trent Noah and what's the other one?
Oh, you mean the freshman that combined for 19 points? The 2 boys from Kentucky. Yeah, you mentioned one. And
Travis Perry and Trent Noah. Like you gotta you gotta face guard them as well.
Well, Noah, Trent Perry is a backup point guard.
Yes, but he looked more like Steph Curry against Tennessee and Lexington.
He did.
He was able to come in
basketball.
Are you good with Chaz on Brea?
Yeah, because always his physicality and him driving the ball. I mean, there's gonna be times when Chaz is gonna be guarding him, but I mean, just the original matchups. I think Mashack should start on Oweh just so that way he's not penetrating the getting to the cup or spraying it out for open shots. I think Chaz and Brea kind of use the same way, like coming off screens. And if you're Kentucky, I mean, I would try to tire out Chaz on offense so that way and make Chaz move on defense so that way he doesn't have that same energy on offense when he's being chased around. So that's what I'm expecting to see from Kentucky. But, yeah, that matchup between Chaz, Mashack versus Brea or Oweh, whoever is guarding who, that's going to be something to watch. We know who Z's checking. We know who he's guarding.
And we know who's checking him. I mean, that's the matchup in this basketball game to me. Lamont Butler versus Zakai Ziegler because they are the heart and soul of each team. I'm interested to see. Lamont's built different than Zakai physically. He's got more height on him. He's got more muscle on him. Does Zakai handle the physicality of Lamont Butler? Okay, and it's not that you're doubting Zakai at all. It's just that his body type is different. He's smaller.
Well,
I mean, that's just life. It is what it is.
He handled Jones for Auburn pretty well.
Yeah, yeah, and I'm not saying that. Like, I think that it's just something to watch. I think Zakai will handle it fine, but it's something to monitor, and you know that they're going to go at one another based off Lamont's comments earlier this week, and you know Zakai's not going to back down from a fight. You know that those quotes earlier this week are really going to get him going. So that's the matchup to watch in terms of just pure entertainment value, I feel like. But I think that Meshack and Lanier versus Owe and Brea is what will probably decide the game. I also think it's going to be critical that one of Tennessee's post players step up defensively in a way that they have not this year. We know that they're going to protect the rim, but if Kentucky goes to the point center stuff again, like it did in Knoxville with their big men, who's going to feel comfortable stepping out on the perimeter in the open court and picking up away from the basket and being able to play with their back to the basket as far out as they will be playing? I think Cade Phillips can do that. I do. I think he has that level of versatility. I worry about that with Felix. I don't think that's a great matchup for Felix. We've already seen it recently with Jamin Brakefield and what he did to Felix in Oxford. But I think to me, Swain, even if there's maybe a size difference there, height wise, like Cade and Igor have to step up if Kentucky goes back to that point center stuff. I think they can maybe handle it a little bit better athletically, and that they can't allow Kentucky to hurt them with that point center stuff the way that they did in Knoxville.
Yeah, I think about Brakefield at Ole Miss. Remember that game where you put Felix in space and they were able to get some plays around the rim. Now, Mark Williams is not as quick and shifty as Brakefield at Ole Miss, but that seemed to be something that gave Tennessee some issues. That if you're Kentucky, maybe you look at, but having that point center allows you to, in Tennessee's version of it, would be the floppy action that is seen offensively when Jemai Meshack has the ball at the top of the key, because Jemai's not going to scare you as being a shooter, so you give him the ball at the top and allow Jordan Gainey and Zakai Ziegler or Chaz in there if he's in to come off screens, the floppy action, whether it's curls or whatever. Well, Kentucky can do that with Amari Williams. Now you're losing a screener, big body to screen, but it allows Kentucky to be able to use those guards, come off screen and shoot the basketball too. So, who's gonna
I'm curious to see how much Kentucky uses that point center stuff too, because they did it because Lamont Butler did not play in Knoxville. They had to do that. Correct. Lamont Butler is obviously playing.
He's back now.
I'm very curious to see what Mark Pope does, because you don't need to go to it because Lamont Butler is playing. But in the back of my mind, I'm thinking, okay, but it really worked.
It worked. Yeah.
So what do you do as a coach in that situation?
You have it in your back pocket.
If things are kind of teetering and maybe not looking too good early on, then you make an adjustment to it.
Listen, man, I'm putting Lamont Butler in about 20 ball screens to open the game. I mean, he is banged up on his left shoulder, which means you allow Zakai to go to his right in the ball screens. Like if I'm Igor, I'm Felix, I'm Cade, I am ball screening the heck out of Lamont Butler. That's what I'm doing. I'm testing that shoulder out. It's not dirty. You got a player who's nursing an injury. He didn't last in your last game against him. That's what I would do. All right. Is this Tennessee team the New York Giants in this run to the title? What do you mean, Rodney and Austell? I mean, I hope. Because, the Giants won the championship that year. Well, 2 times they've won the championship. But I hope. So as Rodney tells us what he means, speaking of the New York Giants, Russell Wilson signs a 1-year deal with the New York Giants, and my immediate reaction, what's wrong, Ben? You okay? You wanted him to be with your Steelers? You want Aaron Rodgers instead?
I want none of them. I want Justin Fields back. I want Sam Darnold.
Well, that's not going to happen. But Russell Wilson going to the Giants, I immediately thought that would be good for Jalen Hyatt. I thought that would be good for him.
Why?
Because he throws those moon balls. He throws great deep balls. And he brings in experience from the quarterback position, credibility, a Super Bowl winning champion. Is better than Daniel Jones or better than anyone else they've had there with the Giants. So I thought it would be good for Jalen Hyatt. Now, I don't think Hyatt is in a good spot right now, but this could be good for Jalen Hyatt.
I think it can be really good from a leadership standpoint. I was pleasantly surprised by how likable Russell was in his season as a Steeler, just how he embraced the organization. He was legitimately a leader. His teammates raved about him throughout the season. It was not the feedback that you got when he was in Denver. So I do agree on that front, and that may be the most important part of it, to be honest with you, is Russell helping Jalen on the professional side and just being a great leader for him. But in terms of helping them win, that moon ball sure did look good when they lost 5 straight to end the season because they couldn't score any points. Russell is washed. He needs to. He is a backup quarterback at this point in his career. That's why they're bringing him in with Jameis. I would imagine Jameis wins that starting job.
What?
Jameis is better than Russell.
What?
Jameis, despite his interceptions last year, was better than Russell Wilson.
Man,
that's a fact.
That's not a fact.
It is fact. Russell cannot run anymore, cannot move. He's old, gets hurt. That's why he missed the first 6 games of the season last year because of a calf injury he suffered while pushing a sled in training camp. That's an old man injury. When you suffer a calf injury because you're pushing a sled in training camp, that's because you're old. That's what that injury is. And then you're slow. You don't run around the way that you used to. You're not creative in the pocket, which was his game his entire career. And then he was not throwing the football with the same accuracy. It was check down after check down or crossing route, shallow crossing route after shallow crossing route. It was nothing. It was nothing, Swaino. And then he's supposed to be playing. Oh, he makes great decisions in the red zone. He doesn't turn the football over in the red zone. He had 27 touchdowns to 3 interceptions in the red zone with the Broncos last year. And he couldn't stop turning the football over in the red zone when he was in a Pittsburgh Steelers uniform.
Turnovers? You want to bring up turnovers? Russell Wilson
at least with the turnovers, Jameis is at least making plays. He'll make a play and then take a step back. He'll make a play, then take a step back. All it was with Russ was handing the football over, handing the football off to Najee or Jalen Warren, and then turning the football over when it was left in his hands. I would rather have Jameis, and I watched both of them. I watched Jameis beat Russell in the snow. I would rather have Jameis than Russell Wilson, and I can say that pretty confidently because I watched both last year, considering one of them was the starting quarterback on my favorite team, and the other was in my division, and I hate watch the Browns.
Did you watch Jameis Wilson play against the Broncos last year? Did you watch that game?
Because stop turning it over.
Like, he was terrible. Russell had 16 touchdowns, 5 interceptions last year. That damn Jameis Winston had 15 interceptions last year, Ben.
How many touchdowns?
No, he had 12 interceptions, 13 touchdowns. 12 interceptions, 13 touchdowns.
I'd rather have Jameis. Russell's career is over.
Well, you funny. You funny.
Well, the real point is that for Jalen Hyatt that both of those guys are his quarterback. Neither one of them are NFL starting quarterbacks.
Well, Jalen got his own work cut out for him. It doesn't really matter who the quarterback is.
Yeah, but the quarterback ain't helping.
I know, but Malik Neighbors was okay.
With Daniel Jones.
I mean, he was catching balls.
Poor Malik Neighbors. He's the next receiver that's going to get all upset and demand a trade.
Yeah, absolutely. But I'm just saying, like, Jalen Hyatt, there was questions about him coming out of college, about his route running and him being a complete receiver and all that good stuff, and the system they played in at Tennessee. And, you know, he has to prove those doubters wrong. And he should be the starter in New York. And it's not because of the quarterback. That's all I'm saying. You know, Hendon Hooker is in a weird spot. And we had a whole debate about that when Detroit signed a quarterback. And I was like, man, I don't know. Hendon should be the number 2 guy, and they're signing quarterbacks. That's just not good for Hendon. And so, you know.
Well, the debate, you were correct long term. The debate that you and I had was the short term meaning of that signing.
Yeah.
I agree with you that he is. They have not necessarily given him the vote of confidence you would like to see if you're a Tennessee fan, which is not good for Hendon.
Yeah, the moment they signed Teddy Bridgewater, who hadn't played football in months and was coaching high school ball, but they signed him in the playoffs, I was like, this ain't good for Hendon at all. So for Tennessee, you need more dudes from your program creating more splashes in the NFL. That's what you need. All
right now, you got it thrown out right.
Pretty much. With my Bears.
Of Heupel's players. Of Heupel's players.
Correct, offensively. Yep, for sure. All right, Rodney and Austell says the defense being the main focus with Z and Meshack, like the New York Giants that run during the 2 championships for the New York Giants Super Bowl. I mean, no and yes. Like, yeah, you see I continue to play really good defense, but Tennessee ain't winning without shooting the ball better. Like, you're not winning shooting 12% from 3, shooting 23% from 3. You can play great defense all day long, but at some point you're going to have to make shots. And that was the difference between Tennessee in some games during the regular season and Tennessee in the postseason when they played against Auburn, when they played against UCLA. Like, the shooting was a whole lot better on top of really, really good defense. So Nathaniel says Dobbs and Joe Milton being on the same team is cool, but I bet it means Milton is getting traded soon. Yeah, I mean, the Patriots were looking for a 3rd-round pick for Milton, which I don't think they're going to get. I think that's very optimistic of the Patriots, expecting that and wanting that. But I think the draft will be a really good time to pay attention to see what happens with Joe Milton, if he stays a Patriot or if he is drafted. Ben, what do you think about Rudolph coming back?
I like Mason Rudolph.
Tina,
I want him in my quarterback room. I just don't want him to be the starting quarterback.
Dustin Vall, 71, do you think Coach Barnes tells Z not to be so aggressive with Kentucky, making those comments, hoping to get him over-aggressive? He gets in early foul trouble. I mean, I think Z understands how important it is for him to not get in early foul trouble. I mean, there's been plenty examples of how his aggressiveness early and his foul trouble early hurts Tennessee and puts Tennessee in a bad spot, puts a lot of pressure on Jordan Gainey offensively. And defensively, this team is different when Zakai is on the bench. So I thought we did a really good job of adjusting to the whistle versus UCLA, and we'll have to do the same thing tomorrow. But to answer your question flat out, yes. I think Rick Barnes has had those conversations with Zakai, and Zakai understands that and knows that as well. Jameis Winston better than Russell Wilson. I heard it all today. I'm done.
Maybe he's not better, but Russell is not better than Jameis. I think that was more my point that I was trying to make. Russell is not better than Jameis. Jameis may not be better than Russ, but Russ ain't better than
Who you
Jameis
think
at this
gonna be the
point.
starting quarterback?
What's that?
Who you think is going to be the starting quarterback with the Giants this year?
I think they'll probably start Russell because of the whole veteran leadership stuff, but I guarantee you, Jameis. Here's what I will safely say, feel confident saying: Jameis will replace Russ at some point because of poor performance. And then at some point, Russ will later replace Jameis for poor performance as well.
You're probably right there. You're probably right. You are probably right, my man. Lady Vols versus Texas on Saturday. This game came down to a wire. I mean, the first time these two teams played, Tennessee did not have their head coach. Kim Caldwell, gave birth to her first child, and you had assistant filling in. This game, I think Tennessee, what they did to get to Ohio State proves that they're playing better right now, and you do have your head coach back. So Texas, they were dominant during the stretch. They haven't been as dominant. They haven't been as good. I'm not going to sit here and say that, Lady Vols are playing better than Texas. I'm not going to say all that. I'm just going to say that Texas, they have not been playing the same as they was when they went on that stretch where they became the number one team in the country. They're good and better than Tennessee. But all that matters is who's better on Saturday. And that can be the Lady Vols. So we'll see what happens. But we got 2 Sweet 16 games, consecutive days for Tennessee athletics.
That's really cool. Especially this is coming off a college football playoff berth, a national championship for baseball, and there's so many other programs on campus that are having a great deal of success as well. I know we talk about it all the time, but truly do not take this for granted because this is not normal. All the success happening right now, it's capable of being fairly consistent at a place like Tennessee with the resources that it has. We've talked about that for many years now, Swain, but it's still Tennessee's on a great run, and it is pretty funny to. I was thinking about this earlier this week. Phillip was on to something. It has been a decade of the Vols so far, especially if basketball. What's that?
Who was Phillip?
Phillip Fulmer.
He didn't say that.
Was it Pruitt that said that one?
Jeremy Pruitt said that.
Well, Jeremy was correct about that.
That's right, he was correct.
It really has been the decade of the Vols so far, especially if the basketball program can break through and make it to the Final Four for the first time in program history. And you pair that with the baseball national championship and the resurgence of the football program, the resurgence of the Lady Vol basketball program, and it has been the decade of the Vols so far. And I hope Tennessee fans don't take that for granted because it is unique. Not a lot of schools can compete in every sport the way that Tennessee is right now. And this is one of those times when at some point in life you look back and think, man, those were the good old days. So enjoy the good old days now before you realize they are the good old days.
I mean, I saw where I think it was a Texas A&M fan was complaining and comparing their program to Tennessee's program. Was like, whoa, with all the resources that we have, and why can't we have what they have? Like, look at them. And I was like, yeah, you're right. You're right. We got it going on right now. We got it going on. I don't think anybody's taking it for granted.
I don't think so either. But there's always one curmudgeon in the group. One thing I wanted to say on the Lady Vols, I'm really confident in them going into Saturday. I'm not at all suggesting that I think they're going to win. I would pick Texas to win because they are the better team.
Yeah.
But the Lady Vols, they looked like a totally different team in Columbus. You and I were talking briefly after the SEC tournament about how they just did not look like the same basketball team that impressed earlier in SEC play. And we wondered how much this break would benefit them, and the break greatly benefited them. They looked like the team from earlier in the season that was kicking butt and taking names and impressing everybody in the process. So they did run out of gas there at the end of the regular season. I think that's very clear now in hindsight.
Yeah.
But they have found their footing. They found their legs, and the energy that they were playing with that they didn't have at the end of the regular season. I think that should give Tennessee fans a lot of confidence going into Saturday's matchup, even if it is against the better basketball team. Talasia Cooper, Ruby Whitehorn, the way those young ladies were playing, and others, of course, that they are absolutely capable of beating Texas.
They are. No, they are. They ain't no doubt about it, my man. All right, what's on the agenda for Ben McKee today in terms of your coverage of Tennessee basketball?
A lot of sports today. I can't wait to watch NCAA tournament and opening day. This is sports heaven for Ben McKee today. We've got media later this morning. Kentucky speaks first. Kentucky speaks at 11:55. Mark Pope will speak at 11:55. Student athletes will follow him at 12:10. Tennessee, it has an open locker room beginning at 1:10. Select student athletes will also speak at the podium at the same time, and then Rick Barnes will speak at 1:25. And then Tennessee has open practice to the media at 1:30 inside of Lucas Oil Stadium. So today is media day, right there in the middle of the day around lunchtime, and I'll make sure I tweet some stuff out, whatever I find interesting. I'll have it on my social media feed, and of course I'll have coverage all day long and throughout the weekend at GoVols247.com.
There it is. There it is. Tennessee Athletics, well, Mike Keith announced that today at 3 p.m., or Thursday at 3 p.m., which is today, new show, Mike Keith Show. It's going to be available on the Tennessee Athletics YouTube channel. So, tap in. Tap in with Mike Keith.
Mike Keith is the best. I know you recently were able to finally meet him in person. I've been able to bump into him at a couple of different Tennessee Athletics events since he got to Knoxville, and he is as good as they come. He is down to earth, and just I love his passion for people. It's something that I strive to be. It's just being nice. I mean, he treats people the way people deserve to be treated, and I'm excited for Tennessee fans to feel his love. I know Tennessee fans that are Titans fans are well aware of the Mike Keith impact, but it's really, really cool how a broadcaster could have such a big impact on a fan base and on a community. And he's so great at what he does on game day, but I think he is great at whatever media he gets into. And I think the Mike Keith Show is going to be a real treat for Tennessee fans because he's a great interviewer. He's got a great personality, and you know he's going to have awesome people in there that he's talking to, Tennessee student athletes and coaches. That's going to be a lot of fun for Tennessee fans.
Yeah, for sure. So you're going to get enthusiasm. You're going to hear the love for Tennessee, the same love that you have as a fan. You're going to hear that from Mike Keith. There's going to be some cool things I think that fans will like, and one, Mike Keith's show. But there's obviously going to be some changes, and I'm sure that's going to be rolled out here very, very soon. 865-255-03.
On the way out the door, C-Mac had a question for me about Chase Dolander.
Okay.
Opening day question for Ben. When will the Rockies call up Dolander? I don't know, C-Mac. I hate to have the cop-out answer, but I think it'll just simply depend on how well Chase Dolander is pitching in the minor leagues to begin the season. He did nearly make the roster out of spring training. I saw an article from somebody who covers the Rockies that they just don't want to rush him along. They just want to make sure they are very thorough in his development and making sure that he is truly ready when they do call him up. So they were willing to send him back down to the minor leagues for now, but if he comes out of the gates and is just pitching tremendously on the mound the first month or two of the season, then it's just a matter of time before he gets caught up. And the cool thing is Tennessee does have a player on the Rockies opening day roster, Seth Halverson, the former Tennessee relief pitcher who transferred from Missouri. He made the Rockies opening day roster, which is so cool. Seth has an awesome story. I wrote about it while he was at Tennessee. I encourage you to go back and check that out if you can find it. Not because I wrote it, but because of just how phenomenal of a story it is and how much he had to overcome. He's throwing a bullpen one day and his elbow just goes out on him. Just Evan Russell told me it sounded like a gunshot. Just throwing a pitch and his elbow just popped. And Evan said it was one of the worst noises he's ever heard in his life. And he had to come back. I don't know the exact surgery he had. I believe it was Tommy John or something along those lines. I can't remember exactly. Forgive me. But then he comes back and he has, I think he had to have his wisdom teeth pulled or it was mono. It was one of the two. And that set him back and he couldn't throw then. Then he had to miss a year. He was wondering if he would ever be able to pitch again. They had to put a screw in his elbow. I mean, he went through a lot physically at Tennessee. And Tennessee did not get to see the best version of him. But him making opening day roster 2-3 years later, that speaks to the pitcher that Tennessee had that it wasn't able to get on the mound. So he's a great young man. I always enjoyed my interactions with him and his family, and I'm really, really happy for him. So I know CMAC is thrilled about all the Vols that are going to end up on the Rockies, but it truly is the Colorado Volunteers up there with Todd Helton being what Todd Helton is to the Rockies, and then now you have Jordan Beck and Seth Halverson and Chase Dolander. That's pretty cool for any Vol fans out there in Denver and in Colorado.
Oh, yeah, for sure. There you go, C-Mac.
What do you think about Charles Davis getting the call up?
Yeah, I mean, he's going to take over for Gary Danielson, who will be stepping down after this year, CBS. So Charles Davis will be his replacement. I think it's awesome that Charles Davis is covering college. It will be the Big Ten, but still, like, he's going to do an awesome job because he is awesome. And then Turkey Man says, I hope Mike Keith brings back John Ward's blue towel. I don't see that happening. Mike Keith is going to be Mike Keith. He's going to be Mike Keith. Like you want to do the best job that you can. You want to be professional. You want John Ward's standard to drive you, but you can't try to be like John Ward. And Mike is the guy following the guy. But who knows? If that's something that's done for like one game, I get it. But and listen, I've only met Mike one time, but I think he'll honor John Ward in other ways besides the blue towel. That's just my personal opinion. All right, Ben. Don't ask any coaches any tough questions. You might get a response like the Maryland's coach. Don't ask about NIL, man. You may get a response from Coach Willard.
Now, see, Rick is easy to cover. He was asked about that. Well, he wasn't asked about NIL. He was asked about the transfer portal going on while they're trying to play for a Sweet 16. And he's like, it is what it is.
It is what it is.
We'll make it work.
Make it do what it do.
Make it do what it do. I hope you have a great weekend. I look forward to seeing you in a Yankees jersey earlier to celebrate opening day with me, and I hope you and the girls enjoy a great weekend of college basketball, both on the men's and women's side coming up.
Oh yeah, it's gonna be a good one, man. Sweet 16 starts today. Tennessee will play tomorrow.
Who are you rooting for tonight?
I mean, I guess my bracket, whoever I had in my bracket. Oh, here it is. So I'm brutal. Oh, man. No, my bracket's terrible.
I know you're a big BYU fan. I know you love Cougars.
Yeah, I had BYU. I got BYU going all the way to the Elite Eight, so I do have BYU over at Bama.
I know you love turtles.
Let's see. Maryland. I do not have Maryland over Florida.
Yeah, but you'll be rooting for Maryland.
Oh, you better believe it.
Now, are you going to be rooting for Jonas Adu and John Calipari to stick it to Kentucky? That's one, like, I know we're anti-rooting for other SEC teams, but I think that's one that you can get away with.
Kentucky? I thought we played Kentucky.
Well, John, I mean, if Kentucky wins against Tennessee, it's a moot point. But if John Calipari goes to the Elite Eight after being fired, that would be sticking it to Kentucky.
No, Arkansas. I understand what you're saying. Arkansas is playing Texas Tech.
Right. I kind of want Arkansas to win so that Arkansas can stick it to Kentucky fans.
Yeah, I'm rooting for Jonas Adu to do well, and he's been playing well as of late. So yeah, I've been rooting for Jonas Adu.
You rooting for Tobe?
Yeah, sure. Against Duke.
How far do you have Duke going in your bracket?
I got Duke going all the way to the Final Four.
So you'll be rooting for Cooper Flag.
I got him going to the Final Four, facing a big orange wall.
Who do you have winning that game?
I got Tennessee. I'm not gonna pick Tennessee to go to the Final Four and just not pick him to go win it.
So you picked them to win the whole thing?
Why not?
Sure.
Why not? They're going to the Final Four. If I pick them to go to the Final Four, I'm not gonna not pick them to go win 2 more games. Like, I don't care about my bracket that much. To be wrong, I'm rolling with my Vols, man. I'm rolling with them. Let's go. And I got Michigan State going all the way to the Final Four too. So I got Duke, Vols, Florida, Michigan State in my Final Four.
And that's all you know. Shout out Ron Slay.
I know, right? Yeah. Auburn versus Michigan. You're in trouble. You're in trouble, Auburn. For Ben McKee, I'm Jason Swain. Swain Event fueled by Dead End Barbecue. We'll be back on Tuesday, 8 a.m. Peace and much love. We are out.